All right, we should be on this page today, which at the top, instead of it saying reflections like it did on Friday, it should say rotations up there in that corner. But our activity today is going to look a lot like what we did on Friday. We're going to be using that same website, that GeoGebra website, in order to perform rotations today so that we can see if there's any patterns for these kind of rotations. Now, again, just like with reflections, I kept it with x-axis, y-axis, and then those two lines, y equals x and y equals negative x. For rotations, we're going to do the same thing. We have like specific angles that we're going to rotate over and find those rules. Those angles are 90 degrees, 180, 270, and negative 90. And so we're going to kind of look for patterns again so that we can write out rules. Just like Friday, there's, a way to do your rotation that I'm going to kind of show you guys together. We'll do the first point as like a whole group here, and then you guys will work on this with your partner again. So I'm just going to run through before you guys even move around. Let's just do this first one here together. I'm going to go ahead and pick the point 4, 2. So go ahead and write that down on yours, and then I'm going to pull this website up. Now remember on Friday you guys went to Schoology. We're going to do the same thing, and I've updated the link. So when you open this GeoGebra link this time, it's going to look slightly different. It should no longer have those lines, the y equals x and y equals negative x on there anymore. It should just be like a plain graph. So it's got empty quadrants, and then that middle point, which is the origin, is going to be located on there, if this will load. There we go. All right, so I'm going to kind of walk you guys through how we do the rotations here. So again, up along the top, we need to put our point. So again, remember your point's the one right here next to that arrow, and I'm going to put that at 4, 2. Okay, so right there. And now I'm going to do the rotation. Now to find your spot for your rotation, underneath that menu that we were using on Friday. So we clicked on this button and it said like reflect up here. I want you to go down a little bit, and there's this one that says rotate around point. That's the one that you guys are going to use today. So just be aware it's in that same drop-down menu. So we're going to click on that, and then you're going to do the same thing that you did on Friday. You're going to pick the point that you want to rotate, and you're going to pick the point you want to rotate around. You're going to rotate around the origin for all of them. That's why that point is there in the center. So I'm going to click on that, click on A, click on my center, and then it's going to give you this pop-up menu. This is when you have to type in your angle. So for the first one in our menu, it says 90 degrees. So I'm going to type in 90, and then notice how it gives me two options, counterclockwise or clockwise. If we're going positively, guys, what direction are we going on our graph? Good, counterclockwise. Remember, you're following the quadrants, how we would label the quadrants. So you're going to go to the left or counterclockwise. So I'm going to keep that selected for right now and just hit OK. And you guys see where that point went? Yeah, it says -2, 4. So now let's go back to our notes and let's write that down. Oops, there we go. -2, 4. Okay, now we're going to go back and do the same thing, but for 180. And just like I did on Friday, I like to just undo what I did, because otherwise you're going to have a lot of points on your graph at the end if you keep them all on there, which is fine if you can keep track of what you're doing. So I'm just going to go about it the same way. I'm going to click on that rotate around a point, click on A, the center. This time, what should I type in? Good, 180. Still counterclockwise. Where did it go? Good, -4, -2. So coming back here, let's write that down. Okay, now let's do it again. What am I typing in this time? 270. Good, 270. And then I'm going to say OK, and we're going to write that down. It's at 2, -4. Okay, and I've got one more to do, and that's the negative angle. So when I come back to this website and I do this one, what's the one thing I'm going to have to change? Good, clockwise. So I'm going to type in 90 still. Even though my notes say negative 90, I know that if I type in 90 and I tell this thing to go clockwise, that's going to say you're going a negative degree there. So I'm going to hit OK, and I get 2, -4, and I'm going to write that on my notes. So now, like you did on Friday, you're going to finish this out by picking out some other points. Remember what we did on Friday is we would put them in all the other quadrants. So I need one in quadrant 2, 3, and 4, and then you need one on the x-axis and on the y-axis. You can work with your same partner from Friday if you would like to. And then again, sit next to each other, one computer per group, because you can both be working off of the same computer. Fill in your chart, and then down there at the bottom, see if you can figure out what the rules are, and then be able to summarize that and answer those questions that they have at the bottom. Okay? Questions? All right, go ahead and sit together if you had a partner and you want to work with them again.
I'm working with someone else.
All right.
How is that?
That's mine. Just give that to me. Here you go.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's mine. Pick up Dak in free agency, bro. You popped out.
Huh?
Pick up Dak in free agency.
Dude, he's starting in our league.
He had 28.
He's starting in our league.
Okay. He's starting for me now.
That's
Play
been
better than Josh Allen.
That's
How Josh Allen only pulled like 11 against the
Patriots got a good defense.
I guess they're obviously too close.
Diggs
Did the
just
Bills
had a
beat him?
legacy game. No, Patriots won. Like 3. The game was so boring in the first half.
Yeah,
The second half.
I
was
I
like-
stopped watching it after the first half. That's why I didn't know if they won.
Yeah, and then the second half was actually pretty good. Because Stephon Diggs had like 10 receptions for like 140 yards.
Yeah.
He almost had 2 touchdowns, but he's like very short.
Okay, wait. Let's restart. Okay. So you kind of it's kind of hard. Listen. Where'd the words go?
Oh, low-key. Probably he was.
I'm pretty sure memories are doing the same thing.
Mr. Anderson, can you come here real quick? I think I'm missing a step.
Not reflections.
I press on the point.
Yep, and then the origin,
Oh, and then the origin. Okay.
and then it should reflect it.
Oh, okay.
So click on A.
And recording.
Okay, yep. Now click on O.
Yeah.
Okay, so click on that rotate button first. Now click on A. Now click on O.
There's a color that way.
There we go. I think
Still
you.
at work. It was fun last time, but I don't know.
What's the matter?
Can't get it.
Click on your rotate around a point. Click on A.
And then you click on
Then the O. Type in your angle that you want to use.
Oh, that's
I don't know what it is now.
so.
Wait, we just had that.
What? Oh, I did. Oh, yeah.
No, it's negative.
Hey, these are always the same, so you know.
let's not do that because that would match your first.
New point now. So it's about 130.
Yeah, 32. Wait, what? Oh, that's quite a
Oh, yeah. No, you did it right. Dang it.
You did it right. I was just reading it down.
Every time I stuff you have to be so slow. It's really the same again.
Isn't it -2?
No.
So just like.
Wait, hold on. It's 2-2. I'm speedrunning this right now, Ben. Hey, good job, man.
I wonder where my scar on my lips gonna go. I don't think it's ever gonna go.
Oh, was that from when you crashed your moped?
No, it's from I got stitches on last year. We started playing basketball. And yeah.
-2, One on each. Does it matter if we do the X or Y axis first or no? No. Alright. Sounds good.
Yeah, it was bad. There was blood all over Owen's court.
And your report?
Yeah, or like in the shed,
Mm.
which just kind of absorbed into it.
Oh, negative. It's 0 -2.
The crickets, it's like one of those like put together courts, like and there's like holes in it. It's so weird because like crickets
Wait, no,
just
it's -2.
randomly
That's
come up
what I thought.
and down in between the cracks while we're playing. It's like going. We got used to it though.
It's funny. They want to play too, bro.
They literally always just chilling.
They want to play too, bro. Come on. I think you're mad at the crickets would cross you up.
We found there's a baby mouse running around in a shed, and then we chased it. And then it got caught in between a wedge, and there's a cord
no,
under
it's right, it's
in
not.
between the wedge, so we lifted the cord
So
and
it's
about
just
to fly like 20
sounds
feet there. It landed inside a box of Coke. Like, soda.
Had me nervous there for a second.
Then I dump them out outside. Remember there was another time. We thought there was I thought there was a coyote behind one of those trees. Because we heard something moving, but it was just a paper bag. We were so
I tried chasing me and Mason.
yeah.
It was me and Mason and Brittany to see whoever was up during the summer. Me and Mason just found bats in my room. We had like two bats from the rooms in the mine. There was a tomcat. That was going chasing the tomcat.
There was
And then it hit his house and it was like right behind it, so we started running away.
there's a bat downstairs in Brown's house. Me and my brother saw him. And he was
I really appreciate your hard work, by the way, Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was sleeping. He's like laying up to like on our side.
Uh-huh.
And we started shooting with an airsoft gun.
Could it come get you?
We shot it like 20 times. Yeah. It couldn't move. It was just all like loud. And it was like squeaking.
Are we done, bro? We gotta figure out the rules here real quick.
Keyword we.
Yeah, keyword is we.
It's y negative x as well, because it's the same thing. 270 90 degrees. You're heading to the same spot, just in different ways.
What are these rotation rules, Ben? Oh, I know, you're right.
Negative 270. 90. Because 90 plus 270 is 360. So I'm just going to break down the same rules.
Y. Negative yx. Oh yeah. Okay. Hold up. We could. Just want to be negative x, negative y.
Wait. How's it?
Negative
Negative
y.
y.
Pull up what we cut. Just want to be y, negative x. Yeah. Just want to be. Hold up. Wait.
Looks like most of you are almost done, so I'll give you just a couple more minutes to maybe finish up, and then we'll talk about it.
I don't know if it's last one. Wouldn't it be just the x goes to the y, and then it would just be y negative x? Wouldn't that be the same? Oh yeah, it is the same as 270. So that these are always the same. So these two rules would be the same. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, good team effort, man.
I was
We'll get bigger handshake like
I always rage bait Gavin because
Larry.
we're like big in the UFC and he's getting John Jones and every fighting his opponents he always says that to certain dominance. So I always do it together. I read down with my school. This is my dominance.
Advisory now. We got advisory after this.
So he like advisory.
Advisory days are better.
I wouldn't say that.
They make Mondays better. How about that?
Oh,
You think they make Mondays worse?
Too early to play for
well, I just go to lunch earlier.
Go to lunch at the same time. Pretty much.
Not really.
Lunch feels longer on advisory days.
I don't know. It's the same.
Oh, yes, they do.
But my hair was fried.
Mine was fried today.
It was weekend because June. It was like windy on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
All right.
My hair was like.
It looks like the majority of you are finished here, so let's go over kind of in summary what you guys discovered. Yeah, I gotta get rid of that. I went in and already had my chart filled out. And again, you can kind of see that first point that we had. That's the one that we all did together. Again, your points are going to be different than mine because you probably put them in a different spot, and that's fine. but you can kind of see those relationships to help you figure out your rule summary. What'd you guys write down for your rule for 90 degrees? What seems to be happening all the time? Keegan?
Negative.
Negative yx.
Yeah.
Okay, so they flip places, and what does that negative sign mean again?
Switch the sign.
Switches the sign. So it's not always negative, but sometimes it's negative, sometimes it's positive, depending on how it started out. What was the rule for 180? Parker?
Negative.
Good. That time they don't flip, they just change the signs for both the x and for the y. How about 270? Macy? Good. How about for negative 90? Greer?
Y negative x.
Okay, so that very first question kind of follows up what we just wrote down there. It says, what do you notice about the 270 and negative 90 rule?
They're always the same
Why?
because they both like are y negative x.
They're both they're written the same way. Why does that happen though? Why would they do the same thing? Parker? No? Keegan?
Because you end at the same spot when you go.
Okay, so think about this, guys. I'm just going to draw a little picture here. If I'm on the graph, and let's say my point is right here. If I wanted to go 270 degrees, what direction do I go on my graph? Left or right? Left. And so think about your quadrants. They're all 90 degrees. So this first one would be 90, second one would be 180, and this third one here would be in the 270. So it'd be here. It would go all this way. That would be 270 degrees. What if I go the opposite way? What's that? Negative 90. So it just kind of illustrates what you said. You're going to end up at the same spot because if you go positively around the graph or negatively, those two amounts are going to equal each other. So then underneath that, it asks, what do you think the negative 270 rule would be?
It'd be the same as the 270 and negative 90 rule because you're just flipping them.
Do you guys agree with that? The negative 270 degrees would be the same as the 90 degree rule. Same idea if you think about the graph again. If I'm on this point once again, and I go 90 degrees or negative 270, negative 270 would be going this way. 90 would be going this way. And it's the same thing, right? So that only works for those connections. And we kind of talked about that too with the 180 rule. We had a problem on one of the worksheets or in our notes or something where it was going 180, but I think it said negative 180. And we talked about how it doesn't really matter if you go positive 180 or negative 180 because you end up at the same spot. So those 2 degrees, 270 and negative 90, or negative 270 and positive 90, work the same way as the 180 rules do. All right, any questions on that today? Just like with the reflection rules, you need to figure out a way to remember these. So figure out some connection, some relationship that makes sense for you so that in the future, if I'm telling you to do rotations and you don't have the rules provided by me, that you're able to like write them down really quick and be able to understand what they are. You should have been already working on that with the reflection rules. Now you need to add on the rotation rules. So you need to be able to like retrieve both of those things. Also, just make sure that you're not getting them confused because that can be the next issue is like you start to accidentally swap them around. Okay. All right.